Introduction to Scrum, January 2022 is for Blue Sky Citadel. So this artifact is for Blue Sky Citadel. My name is Fumi Okidon-Bello. I'm an Agile delivery manager by profession. I'm one of the mentors here in Blue Sky Citadel. I'm a product of Blue Sky Citadel as well. And I currently work in the financial sector. I've worked in different sectors, but this is what I'm currently doing. An Agile delivery manager, just in case you want to know, is like a step up from being a Scrum Master. So you've got more responsibilities, you've got more things you need to do than the regular Scrum Master. However, they do not differ very much, but it's just like I said, just an added responsibility, and it depends on the company anyway. So that's it. Like I said, introduction to Scrum. But before we can talk about Scrum, we'll have to know what Agile is. I'm sure you'd have been hearing Agile here and there, Agile, Agile, Agile. So we'll be going into Agile. Agile is a mindset within which a set of techniques and framework is being used by teams and organizations to administer a product by dividing it into stages with continuous collaboration and feedback from and with the customer. I say Agile is a mindset because you have to think it to know it. You have to believe in it to be able to administer it. So as an organization, so some organizations, they say, we want to go Agile. We want to do an Agile transformation project. What do they mean? They've been doing things in a certain way, and they're thinking to themselves that actually we can do it better. There's something called Agile. Some people call it methodology, but I always try to run away from calling it a methodology. It is a methodology, but I want us to simplify it in a way whereby we see it as a mindset, how we think we can do things better. It's just like in your normal life. Okay, let me give you an example. You wake up in the morning, you know that your normal routine is wake up in the morning. If you've got kids, you get your kids ready for school and you try to drive to work. And when you drive to work, it takes you an hour, 30 minutes to get to work every single day. It works for you, it's fine. But you realize that it's telling on you, you're getting tired. By the time you get to work, you're exhausted. Now you say to yourself, okay, how can I do this better? You've been getting results, but I can rest better. Or how can I plan it? Then you start saying to yourself, okay, instead of waking up in the morning and shampooing my hair, ironing my clothes, how about I iron the clothes for the week over the weekend? Then I will shampoo my hair just twice a week. Then I will drop the kids, or sometimes if I have someone to drop them, I will drop the kids or someone will drop them. You've saved time because you're not washing your hair every day. One, you're getting your clothes ready. You're not ironing every single day. You save time. Now, instead of driving to work, how about I take the train? If I take the train, it will take me 1 hour. Rather than getting into traffic, spending an hour, 30 minutes, 2 hours on my way to work. Now you're telling yourself this. Now you wait that which one serves me better. Even though the first one serves you well, but the second one is serving you better. So that is the kind of mindset you need to have as a person going into Agile, that like, let's do it another way. Let's try and do it in bits. Let me plan my day in bits. Do my ironing over the weekend, have somebody drop the kids, or even when I drop the kids, I wouldn't waste time. I wouldn't shampoo my hair every day. You've cut out some days. Now, it's called you're inspecting and adapting. Okay, if I do this, will it give me a better result? Rather than driving, should I take the train? Is it better? I won't be driving. Then I can just get off the train, walk into my office, and I'm not too tired in the morning. Or when you're leaving, you're not too tired. So in your head, you already have that mindset of making things better for yourself. You would understand this as we go, but I just want you to go into that mindset right now, an agile mindset. Not, let me say, a better way of doing software development. I wouldn't say it's better than the traditional way, and I wouldn't say it's not better than the traditional way, but I'll leave you to have that mindset as we go. Then I'll ask you some questions and you feel free to ask me questions. Okay. Under Agile, we've got different frameworks. Like I said, it's a group of techniques and frameworks. So people use it differently. How they understand it, how they want to effect it is different. So these frameworks are Scrum. This is the most popular one out of all the frameworks. However, there are other frameworks which you will see shortly, but Scrum is widely used in most organizations, and you will know what they mean later. We've got Kanban, we've got extreme programming, we've got Crystal, and we've got a whole lot of other ones. But these are the ones that most companies they use. Some people don't even use Crystal. The most popular ones are Scrum and Kanban. So it depends on the organization. Like I said, Agile is an iterative approach to project management and software development that helps team deliver value to their customer faster than the traditional project management. You would understand as we go. Now, what is Agile? See this, oh, hang on a minute. See this illustration here. What Agile and Scrum is, what Agile and Scrum is not. Scrum is a simple framework that can be understood, implemented in a few days. It's an approach to managing complex problems. It's a collaborative effort involving developers and customers in ongoing dialogue. So whenever you hear me saying developers, it means the Scrum team. Developers or the development team, they're all the Scrum team. You will know what the Scrum team means as we go. What Scrum is not, it's not a silver bullet. It's not a solution to all your problems. No, it is not a new productivity. It's not a miracle methodology. No, it is not a replacement for Waterfall. Waterfall is your traditional project management framework or methodology. And Scrum does not mean no documentation, no metrics. I'm sure a lot of you or some of you would have read the theoretical aspect of it. You're saying no documentation, no metrics. No, that's not what Scrum is about. There will be some documentation and you need metrics to prove certain things. Now, under Agile, we've got 12 principles. These principles guide the Scrum team or the Agile team in the way they deliver projects, in the way they deliver this software development project. It can be any kind of project, but these principles, if you let these principles guide you, then you can boldly say, I'm practicing Agile. A lot of people say I'm Agile, but they are not really Agile. They're Agile theoretically, but how to apply Agile to your work is the main thing. I'm not going to be reading all these principles. You can only apply these principles when you start doing something. If you start practicalizing it, then you'd understand all this. Take, for example, my favorite one is number 10. Simplicity is the art of maximizing the amount of work not done. This is essential. Number one, our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. These principles is like the Agile Bible. This guides our thoughts, it guides our practices, it guides our processes. Believe me when I say, even when you start work today, you won't be referring back to this, but it's good to know so that it becomes your mindset. You see me saying this continuously. Agile is a mindset. It's a mindset. I don't expect you to cram this and say, oh, I know all the 12. It's good for you. Know all the 12 principles. When you take your exams, it's good for you to know. But however, for you to keep this embedded in your mind, you need to live in it. You need to understand what each one is saying and know how to apply it to your real life project. So these are 12 principles under Agile. Then there's something they call Agile Manifesto. The Agile Manifesto is saying what we favor for Agile over the traditional project management. When you hear me say traditional project management, I mean waterfall. So that's when you hear a project manager. So in Agile, rather than hearing a project manager, you're a Scrum Master. The differences are there. So The Agile manifesto says we favor individual and interaction over processes and tools. In the waterfall methodology, we've got a lot of processes in place, different tools. We're using MS Project, we're using Smart Sheet, we're using Excel, we're using different tools, we're using Gantt charts and all that. However, while that one is okay to manage a project, we would rather favor individual collaboration and interaction over using processes and tools. We favor us discussing. Let's talk about these things. It's just like, let's say, when you type a message, it can mean something to somebody else, but when you talk about it, it will mean something different. So Agile favors people discussing, a team coming together, like, okay, guys, what do we need to do? Oh, actually, we can do it this way. The other person says, no, we can also do it this way. Then you hear yourself talk, then you collaborate more. Agile favors individual and interaction over processes and tools. Working software over comprehensive documentation. What do we want to deliver? The measurement of progress is what you deliver. The value you are able to add at the end of the day, a working software over a comprehensive documentation. If you know what waterfall is, or if you've been in the project management environment before, a PMO office before, you would know that documentation is very important. Be it your RAG status stuff, your raid log, be it your status update report, that different kinds of report, comprehensive documentation saying, oh, this is what we want to deliver, this is what we've delivered, or this is what the team they're working on. So we favor a working software. Let's say you want to build a website, or rather, let me say you want to manufacture a car, you want to build a car. So rather than wait for it to become a car before you start adding value, we'll rather do it in bits. Let's start from the tire. Let's make this tire and give it to the customer. Let's see. This is value added. The customer can see, oh, actually, I like this tire smaller. I like it bigger. They have an opportunity to say something. Then the team is adding value over just reading documents, providing documents. Then customer collaboration leads me to the next one. We favor customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Customer collaboration in the sense that in Agile, the customer is able to feedback, is able to be a part of the project. The customer is your stakeholder. So when you hear stakeholders, they are your stakeholders. So your stakeholders are people that have impact or that are impacted by the project you're trying to deliver. So Agile favors these stakeholders collaboration over let's write contracts, let's do this. Okay, let's say that's just Agile feels that rather than doing all the contract signing, okay, we approve and all that, let your customer be a part of your project. Let them be able to inspect what you're doing. Let them be able to say, actually, are you hearing me? This is what I need. I need this thing in this shade of blue. So when you do it iteratively, when you hear iterative approach, it's like you're doing it in bits. When you do, your customer is able to come and say, oh, okay, actually, that blue can be lighter or it can be darker. Then the team can go back to the drawing board to say, okay, let's make it darker, rather than wait for the end of project before they deliver something to the customer. Agile favors responding to change over following a plan. In waterfall, people follow plan. Like when you start a project, you've done all your documentation, the project manager already has a plan of how this project is going to go. They've assigned work, they've done everything, everything has been set. The people working on the project, everybody is following a plan. So this project is going to take us 1 year. Let's say in waterfall, it's going to take us 1 year. It is until the end of that project before the customer can see, then nothing changes. Budget might change, it might add budget, it might take over, anything, those kind of things can change. But the plan, we want to be, I need a Mercedes Benz. Until they finish building that Mercedes Benz, nothing is being done and they cannot change. So whatever requirement the BA has gathered, the project manager has approved and all that, that is what they follow through to the end. Forgetting that human beings change. things can change. I might change my mind that I don't want to do this anymore, or I want to add this feature. You know how we are. Okay, just like the way we've responded to COVID. Who knows that we'll be here today doing online? We would have been in class, but we're responding to change. As human beings, we are agile in nature. We only need to have the mindset that we are already agile in nature for us to know that we're already on the right path. Responding to change, that's why agile favors responding to change over following a plan. We already know in agile that anything can happen. A customer can change their mind from a light blue to a dark blue. There shouldn't be any problem. We should be open to change and like, okay, yes, we can do it. Now, if you see the wordings under, it says, while there's value in the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. We are not saying the items on the right is not valuable. No, it is valuable. It's working for some projects and some companies. However, we're saying we value this more, the ones on the left more as agile practitioners. Okay, so before I go into the next one, let me see. Questions? Could you please slow down between slides, please? Thank you. All right, cool. So can we say what a project manager does in Waterfall is what a Scrum Master does in Agile? That is PM to Waterfall, Scrum Master to Agile. Yes, is the answer. So that's it. Waterfall project management. This is the traditional way. Your project manager, your SME, that is a subject matter expert, your BA, your architect, your developers, your tester, your SME that's with the UAT person that will test whatever the team have done. This is what the traditional project management team looks like. We've got project sponsors. You will see that as we go. So the traditional way, the stakeholders, they are there. This is what we need. The sponsor is there. The sponsor will now look for a project manager to project manage what the stakeholders need. So that is the way. In Waterfall, everything is controlled. Everyone knows their role and the project manager controls everything. Eventually, after taking it off, it is the project manager's responsibility to see to a successful end or to see to an end. However, it doesn't mean that at the end of the project, it's going to be successful. So sometimes I've seen projects that have been that were canceled at the end of 2 years because it lost its value. So that's the traditional way. This is what we want to build. They just go ahead and do it. And it works for some organizations and for some kind of project. So we're not saying it's bad. We're only saying Agile. What we prefer in Agile is an iterative approach to project management. This is the Scrum way. Your stakeholders, this is what we need. So I'm sure I missed some of you. You have BAs in the making here. So your BAs would ideally work with your product owners. You will know what these roles mean later in case it sounds like Greek now. So your stakeholders are people that are impacted by your project or people that have impact on this project. So they come up with, this is what they need. It might be that you're trying to enhance a website, you're trying to improve a service, you're trying to automate a service from manual to automation. That's what automate means. This is what the Scrum way looks like. These people come up with these things. The BA breaks it down. The product owner knows, have an overview of what the stakeholders want, passes it on to the BA. In this case, the BA breaks it down into what we call user stories. These tickets, this tiny ticket you're seeing, they break it down into tickets. Now, the team delivers. So this is the Scrum way, okay? Involved versus committed. The stakeholders are involved in the project. You remember I said it earlier, in Agile, we favor stakeholders collaboration, stakeholders feedback. So they are involved, the team is committed. The team is committed to delivering what the stakeholders want them to deliver. And the team can liaise, talk with the stakeholders. So Like in project management, sometimes, I don't know how it is now, maybe things have changed. The project manager is the only link. The project manager, the BA, they're the link to the stakeholders. In Scrum, everybody is linked to the stakeholder. Everyone can speak with the stakeholder. It is not a fire brigade approach. Everyone is involved. We're all a team. What is Scrum? A better way of building products. Scrum is a framework within which people can address complex adaptive problems while productively and creatively delivering product of the highest possible value. That's what we've been saying before. So adaptive, you hear this word a lot. Adaptive, productively, deliver, value. These are the words Scrum uses, and this is what we aim to achieve most times with Scrum. Roles. Let me see. Before I go into roles, let's see. So do BAs report to Scrum Master or do they work hand in hand? I mean, is a Scrum Master superior, senior to BA? Also, can a BA do what a Scrum Master does, and can a Scrum Master do? Okay, I get your question. Simple answer to this is no. The BA does not report to the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is not the boss of the team. However, the Scrum Master is a leader. You can see the Scrum Master as your team lead. Does not mean you report to your Scrum Master. They have their roles, which I will explain later. The BA doesn't report to the Scrum Master. The Scrum Master does not report to the BA. You are a team. The Scrum Master, the BA, the product owner, the development team, or the developers, they are all a team. It's a team. So if one person fails, everybody fails. So as a team, the only way we can succeed and deliver value is if we work together hand in hand as a collaborative team. We need to work hand in hand. Once a Scrum Master starts seeing themselves as superior to the team, that's where the problem comes in. Then it becomes waterfall. The project manager can control. The Scrum Master can't control. You can only assist, support, show, lead by example, remove impediments, and all of this that you'll see later. Can a BA do a Scrum Master role? Can, yes. Should, no. Can a Scrum Master do a BA role? Can, should, probably yes. Because a Scrum Master, you should be able to, because you are your team's coach. As a Scrum Master, you are your team's coach. You are a coach for your team. So if you're going to coach somebody, it means you have an idea of what they do. And I would advise every Scrum Master should try and know how to write user stories, because sometimes you might need to fill in these gaps. It depends on the organization that you'll be working for. You need to know how to write user stories. You need to know how to create tickets on your either your Jira board or your Azure board or whatever it is your organization uses. You should be able to know at least what your BA does and be informed, because if you're going to go through like a refinement session, which you would see what it means later, then you need to know what you need to do. Because like we said, it's a servant leadership. You need to lead by example. You need to support. So part of your role, you support the PO, you support your PO. Ideally, in a Scrum team, there's nothing like BA, but nowadays people have adapted. They've employed BAs to be part of the Scrum team. So the BA is also part of the Scrum team. So yours is to try and remove blockers for your team, support everyone to make sure that success is sure, that their team, they're delivering value the way they're supposed to be delivering value, continuous improvement. Are they inspecting and adapting? Are they listening to changes? Are they open to changes? Things like that. So should you know how to do what your BA does? Yes, it's an added advantage. It is not mandatory, but I would say the way everything is changing now, it is advisable for you to know how to do it. Okay. Scrum roles. Within a Scrum team, there's a product owner. I always say something. When the purpose of something is not known, abuse is inevitable. You must know your role and stick with your role, understand the other person's role so there won't be any mishaps. The product owner is responsible for maximizing the business value delivered by the team. It's a one person that's responsible for the backlog and the story priority. The product owner can accept or reject the work the team has done. The product owner will help the team define what done looks like. You would understand this when you start your internship. This product owner should be knowledgeable, empowered, and engaged, motivates team, and celebrates success. So the product owner is the one with the overview, with the overarching view of what the stakeholders want, what the program level wants, what the enterprise wants, what the organization wants. They have all these things. They should be knowledgeable. They should be smart. They should know what needs to be done. They own the what. What should this team deliver? That is the role of a product owner. They are responsible for these things. That is why sometimes your product owner is all about, what are you guys doing? Have you done it? Have you done what I wanted you guys to do? It does not mean that they are your boss, but it means that they've got so much responsibility. They too have people they are answerable to. However, they're also part of the team. The product owner is part of the team. A BA, a smart, intelligent BA, is a potential product owner if they are interested. If not, you can be a BA just like that and just stick with being a BA. But if you know the product, you can speak the language of stakeholders, you understand what they need, you understand some technicalities, because there are some technicalities to being a PO, then that's what a PO is. A PO is like uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. They know what the stakeholders want. They have the overview. They have that picture in their head. They want the team to deliver that picture in their head. So they own the what. What do we deliver? The Scrum Master. The Scrum Master is responsible for facilitating the Scrum process and ensuring the team is delivering value. The Scrum Master helps build a self-organizing team, removes impediments, keeps the process healthy, empowers the team, a servant leader. They are responsible for facilitating the Scrum process. There are different processes in Scrum, sprints, and all that, and ensuring the team is delivering value. They won't deliver that value, but they ensure that the team is working in a way whereby they can deliver value. They will be in an advisory position. So tell me, how can you advise somebody when you don't even know what you're advising on? So the Scrum Master needs to be knowledgeable. So it's not what you've heard before that we just facilitate ceremonies. No, it's gone beyond that now. So you have to be knowledgeable to stay valuable. They remove impediments. What do we mean by impediment? They are blockers. These are problems that will come up with the team. It's not as if the Scrum Master has all the answers, but the Scrum Master should be able to know what to say, when to say, how to say it, and how to direct the team to who they need to reach out to solve those problems. So you are not the almighty to solve every problem as a Scrum Master, but you should be able to ask the right questions, direct your team towards where they're supposed to get solution from. Keeps the process healthy, empowers the team. Empowers the team, make sure no distraction, be your team's guide, make sure you're looking out for your team, looking out for their health, looking at everything basically. So I'm going to be moving a bit fast because I think we're doing fine. Okay, so the team. The team is responsible for turning the product backlog items into increments of value each sprint. So a sprint is an iteration. So it's a cadence where the team delivers value at the end of each cadence. The cadence can be 4 weeks, 2 weeks, depending on the organization. Some people do 1 week. So a team consists of cross-functional individuals. It can be 7 or 9 or 5. I've worked with a team of 3 before. So long as they've got the right skills to deliver that value, it doesn't really matter the number. I've worked with a team of 13. So there is no hard and fast rule about this. It depends on the organization. The team should consist of a self-organizing and collaborative people. Self-organizing in the sense that you know what to do and you just go ahead and do it. You can do what you need to do without waiting for somebody to tell you what to do. Collaborative, you guys talk. The developers are talking to the QAs are talking to the UX designers, they're talking to the BA. You guys are working together to make everything work. There are a set of people that are committed to see the project succeed. They are generalizing specialists. They are specialists in their own areas, developers. They can be DevOps engineers. There can be quality assurance leads, tech leads. They can be solutions architects, specialists. They deliver value in small chunks. Like we've been saying, iteration, small chunks. They're focused on customer, build in quality. So focus on the customer, the stakeholders. What do they want? Let us deliver what the customer wants. Now, under Scrum, there are Scrum ceremonies. I always say it. The Scrum ceremony, as a Scrum Master, if you can be a master of your own ceremonies, then you're halfway through. You're halfway through success. Just like they say MC, master of ceremony. If you can be a master of your own ceremonies, then you're halfway through your career as a Scrum Master. Take this. Okay, all right, cool. Same question. All right. Okay. Under Scrum, we've got different kinds of ceremony. I'm sure you guys have heard ceremonies before. I'll just go briefly over it. It's an introductory section, so I won't be going deep into it. So we've got sprint planning, we've got daily Scrum, we've got sprint review, we've got retrospective. These are the ceremonies under Scrum. Very, very important. Without this, then you're not practicing Scrum. Sprint planning. This is where the team comes together, the BA, the PO, the team, the Scrum Master, everyone comes together to see what work needs to be done. Let's plan it. The PO has prioritized this work. Okay, this is what we should be working on. Planning generally, what do we want to do? Like I said, remember I said it the other time, the team owns the how. How do we deliver the picture in the head of our PO? How do we deliver it? Don't forget they've got skills. They've got certain skills. Oh, we want to build a car. They've got engineers there. They've got designers there. So all these people will come together during the sprint planning. You as a Scrum Master, you will facilitate this ceremony and make sure they get value out of this ceremony. So it's not enough to have a meeting without your team getting value out of it. The responsibility and the onus lies on you as a Scrum Master to make sure that your team gets value. How do they get value? Make sure they don't lose focus of what they are planning to do. Sometimes it's easy for teams to derail and start talking about something else entirely or get carried away with a problem, forgetting that they're in sprint planning. So the onus lies on you as a Scrum Master to call your team back. So like, okay, guys, let's plan this thing. What are we saying? Let people come back to reality, what they are supposed to be doing. Your job as a Scrum Master. Sprint, daily Scrum. The daily Scrum happens every day. It's for 15 minutes. It can be less, but it shouldn't be more. However, some organizations, they do it for 30 minutes. That's not just right, because the daily stand-up is called either daily stand-up or daily Scrum. Is supposed to be an inspect and adapt loop, and a place where the team can tell us what they've done, what they're planning to do, if there are any impediments. This shouldn't take more than 15 minutes, regardless of the number of team. Some teams, if they're like 13, the thing is, if your team becomes self-organizing, 15 minutes is ideal, is enough. If they know what they are supposed to be doing. And if you as a Scrum Master, you bring your team back to what they're supposed to be doing. Let's say somebody goes off and starts saying, okay, I've done this yesterday, I'm doing this now. However, I have this problem. The person starts sharing screen. I was trying to do this. You as a Scrum Master can easily say, Fumi, hang on a minute, please. Let's finish the daily stand-up. Can you take this to the parking lot? So when you hear parking lot, it means any other business outside the daily Scrum. The daily Scrum is a time boxed event. So when they say time box, that means it should happen within 15 minutes. I've worked with a team where we do our daily stand-up for 8 minutes. It's just because they know what they're doing. They understand what daily stand-up means. If your team does not understand what it means, then they will probably go off and start talking about different things, and they can easily turn it into a status meeting. Especially, let's say you've got a PO that just wants to hear status of things, just go on and start sharing screen. That's no longer a daily Scrum. That's a status meeting. That's the second ceremony. The other ceremony is sprint review. This is where the stakeholders come together and review the work that the team said they've done. The value they've created, they will review it. So the stakeholders are present, the PO present, the team is present, they demo their work. So some people call it demo, some people call it review. So the stakeholders can come and say, oh, actually, we like the work you've done, or no, we don't like this. You can take this out. The team can ask their question. Okay, so you want it like this? You think this? That is it. It is also a time boxed event, 2 hours maximum, but sometimes we target 1 hour. My team, we target 1 hour. To each his own, whatever works for your team. The other one is retrospective. During the retrospective, the team is a safe ceremony for the team where they can discuss anything without fear of being judged or fear of being attacked. So this is a team's meeting. It's not a stakeholder meeting. The stakeholder shouldn't attend the retrospective. So this is where the team can say, this was what we did well, this was what we didn't do well, but I think if we had done it this way, we would have gotten a better result. So after the retrospective, we'll have action items that, okay, let's keep an eye on this. We want to keep this in mind so that next sprint we won't make the same mistake. It is what the waterfall called lessons learned. So retrospective ceremony is where you reflect. Okay, what did I do well? Okay, what didn't I do well? Okay, I would have done better. Okay, maybe we didn't communicate well. Okay, I was just angry with John. John was very annoying during this sprint. They can easily say it there. If they are a self-organizing team or a mature team, they can easily say it without going off on one another. They can say, actually, Fumi, in the course of the sprint, this was all you did that slowed us down. So can we do better? So this is a place where they can say different things. You would notice there are other things around it. Backlog refinement, estimation, prioritization. These are, I will call them enablers of these ceremonies. The core ceremonies are sprint planning, sprint review, retrospective, daily scrum. They're all important. They're all important. The backlog refinement depends on your company. Some people have it once a week, some people have it bi-weekly. Is where you refine the backlog. It can be the job of the what's it called? The BA, but the team must or should be involved in your backlog refinement because they are the ones doing the work, isn't it? So if anything changes, they will let you know as the BA or as the PO know that this thing has changed. Okay, actually, we've estimated it to be 13. It's now an 8 because we've done an initial work. Backlog refinement is like cleaning up and getting the backlog ready, healthy for sprint planning. Backlog estimation is part of refinement. Some companies do it as part of the refinement. Some companies just wait till sprint planning before they start estimating. It depends on whatever works for the team. As a Scrum Master, you need to be creative to see what works. And if you try something, if it doesn't work, it's okay to fail. It's better to fail fast than fail late. Fail fast, learn from your mistake and move on. Prioritization, who prioritizes it? The PO. The PO will prioritize the backlog. Says, this is what is important for the organization for the next quarter. This is what I'm prioritizing. So it's now left for the BA to work with the Scrum Master, with the team, to know how to break this down into sprints. Okay, this is just a picture of what it looks like. So the product backlog is where all the stories you want to be working on resides. That's where they live. The product backlog is like the house of everything the team will be working on. From the product backlog, the sprint planning comes out. What are you planning? The items in the product backlog. They call them PBIs, the product backlog items. That's what you are planning. That's what the team is planning. You can see grooming underneath this place. Grooming is also called refinement. So you're grooming the product backlog as you go. You groom it, refine it, make sure everything ticks all the boxes, the invest criteria, the definition of done, the definition of ready. The sprint backlog, this is where the team works. The sprint backlog is owned by the team. That is where they break their own stories into tasks. The BA writes this story in the product backlog. The sprint backlog, that's where the team breaks it down into what you call task or subtask for you to start working on, the steps you will use in completing each story. You would understand better during the internship. Daily Scrum, it happens every single day throughout the life of the project. Daily Scrum, 15 minutes. Some people have it in the morning, some people have it mid-morning. But people just want to start their day, but it depends on whatever works for the team. I always say whatever works for the team, because whatever works for team A might not work for team B. So find a niche, find something that works for your team and do it. So long as you have the buy-in of your team, then you're good to go. It's not it's not your own decision, it's the decision of the team, everyone together. Sprint retrospective, we've talked about it. Sprint review, we've talked about it. Partially shippable product increment, the value you've added at the end of the sprint, the aim at the end of every sprint. Like I said, sprint can be 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month. The value you've added at the end of the sprint is called your shippable product. That's the measurement of progress, is the value you've been able to add. What problem were you able to solve? Are you trying to automate a system where like we said, is in iterations, in bits, 2 weeks. What can you deliver in 2 weeks? But what that thing, it might just be something tiny, but so long as value is added at the end of that 2 weeks, then you've made progress. Your team has made progress. However, it's not the end of the world if at the end of the sprint you're not able to complete all you committed to. Maybe there was a blocker, maybe somebody fell ill, maybe the tech lead, maybe the lead developer that knows Terraform or whatever they work with, the person fell. Anything can happen. That's why we said we're flexible. It's a flexible approach. However, we should be committed to our goal and be focused. The artifact, these are the things produced from Scrum. The product backlog is an artifact. The sprint backlog is an artifact. The burn down chart is an artifact. I won't go into this. It's just an introductory session just for you to know. Okay, so we've got the pillar and values. So Scrum as a house under which it stands. Hang on a minute. These are the Scrum the 3 pillars of Scrum, and we've got 5 values. So the 3 pillars of Scrum are transparency, inspection, and adoption or adaptation. The transparency is make sure the work you're doing, let it be visible to those responsible for the outcome. Let it be visible to everyone. Your work should not be hidden. Your work should be on your backlog, so anyone can go in there. Maybe your PO, the stakeholder can like, okay, let me see. Oh, that's what's going on. Transparency. Be open about everything you're doing on the Scrum. Inspection, frequent inspection of artifacts and progress towards the sprint goal. Inspection, there are different loops for inspection under Scrum. You've got your daily Scrum, you've got a sprint review, you've got a retrospective. These are areas where you can inspect that, okay, actually, what are we doing? Are we doing it well? If we're not doing it well, what can we do better? Adoption or adaptation, being able to adapt to changes. Continuous process reviewing. Okay, this is not working for us. Okay, we've been having 1 hour sprint planning. I think it's not enough. We can have 1 hour, 30 minutes. It can be simple things like that. Just being able to adapt to change, being able to be open to change. So it's not a rigid approach that no, they said sprint daily Scrum is 15 minutes. We must stay here 15 minutes no matter what. No, be adaptable. So these are the 3 pillars of Scrum. That is what holds the house Scrum stands on. It's called the empirical process. Going back to the values, we've got values in every what binds a country, or rather what keeps everyone under check, is the law, rules and law. So if you steal, the police would get hold of you, put you in prison, take you to court, or do all those things. These are things holding, these are the things keeping people in check, keeping people sane. So the 5 values of Scrum: commitment, focus, openness, courage, and respect. We'll go deep into this when you start your internship. So in your own time, read about the 5 values of Scrum. Okay, so this is the 5 values of Scrum explained. I won't go into it. Now, from this session, key points for you to remember. Scrum is very simple to learn, but very hard to practice due to the mindset and behavior change required. You see that this mindset keeps coming up. You need to have that mindset to be able to practice Scrum. It might look very easy. Maybe you've heard some things from some people that, no, Scrum is really easy. It's really easy. I tell you what, the day you see a Scrum Master see themselves as doing an easy job, it means you started failing. Scrum is not about booking meetings, facilitating ceremonies. It's not for the faint-hearted. You have to be a servant leader. It's difficult to be a servant leader. You have to be a very patient person. You have to put your attitude in check. You have to be a stakeholder person. You need to know how to manage people, different personalities. You have different personalities within your team. You're not from the same home. You don't come from the same place. So there are different people with different personalities. So a Scrum Master needs to know how to manage each person differently. And a Scrum Master should have integrity, not to discuss confidential things with another person. You have to have integrity to know when to speak and when not to speak. You have to know that you are a coach, you are your team's coach. They are looking up to you to help them work in an agile way. Also, on you Scrum Masters is uneasy lies the head that wears the crown. We always say Scrum Masters are the drones. They see everything. If two team members are not cordial, if they're not working together and they're not collaborative, it can drag the team back. It's the Scrum Master's role to step in and try to mitigate this issue. Look out for the risk that your team, they've pointed out that this is a risk to our project. We might not be able to deliver because of this. Look out for it. You're not just listening to it and nodding your head. You're looking for ways to make it better. You're looking for ways to escalate some issues. If one of your team members is dragging you back, you've reached out, you've tried to help, you need to know your escalation point as a Scrum Master after you've tried everything. Scrum has three roles: the Scrum Master, the product owner, and the team. The team consists of different specialists. The Scrum has 4 meetings, that's ceremonies. You are the master of these ceremonies. We've said it before: sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and retrospective. There are 3 artifacts under Scrum: product backlog, sprint backlog, and burn down charts. They all have what they are meant for, but these are some of the artifacts that is produced under Scrum. Scrum advocates working in time box sprints with high visibility, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Like I said, time box, when you hear time box, okay, if we're saying sprint planning is 2 hours, then we shouldn't go over 2 hours. If I'm saying that sprint planning is 1 hour or 1.5 hours, depending on your kind of project or the work you've done before. So in some companies, when they do their refinement, their sprint planning becomes shorter because they've done half of the work in the course of the refinement. Scrum, okay, yeah. Okay, so high visibility. Let your work be visible, be transparent. Collaboration. Scrum advocates collaboration. You guys talk together. BAs should speak to developers. Developers, carry your QAs along. QAs, carry the PO along. PO, carry your people along. Carry your team along. That, okay, this is what, because like I said, if one person, one developer or one QA is lagging behind, it would tell on the work of the team. So you wouldn't say, oh, well, I'm doing my job. It's Fumi that is not doing her job. No, you are a team. There is nobody's going to give you a prize as an individual. It's a team success or a team failure. That is what Scrum encourages us. So more of this, when you put these things, you're listening to it now. Sometimes to some people it's sounding like Greek, some people it's sounding a lot. It's just too much for you to understand. But when you start practicalizing and making your mistake in the internship, you would understand these things more. And during the internship, there are different sessions that people will take you through these things. Again, it will be broken down and people will face it. Someone will just take sprint ceremonies and take it as a course. Then you'd understand it better. You're able to practicalize it during the internship.